Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Uni-Dive PX01. This watch is available from Uni-Dive official store on AliExpress for €187. Uni-Dive watches are made by Proxima watches, and one can purchase the PX01 that we're looking at here with either the Uni-Dive brand logo or alternatively the Proxima brand logo on the dial. So firstly, let's look at the box that the watch comes in, and then I'll talk you through the other items one gets with the piece. So the PX01 comes in this black plastic pelican style case. Inside there are two pieces of foam which protect the watch in shipping. I like this pelican style case, and I would like to see other low tier brands use them because they are good quality. This is the owner's instruction manual, and as you can see it has both the Uni-Dive brand emblem and also the Proxima brand logo, because Uni-Dive watches are also made under the Proxima brand name. Clear concise diagrams. The instructions are bilingual in both Mandarin and English, and this owner's manual is a very useful read if you're unfamiliar with the movement used, which is the Seiko NH35A automatic. This is the plastic warranty card, and I'm pleased to report that the PX01 is covered by a 2-year international warranty, which is very reassuring. There is a QR code you can scan with your iPhone or Android to activate the 2-year international warranty, and as you can see the date of purchase is filled in and the watch is also signed by Stephen Yee. So very reassuring, because usually with low tier watches they're only covered by a 1-year international warranty, so to get a 2-year international warranty at this price point really is exceptional. One also gets a spring bar tool. There is a 2-prong fork at one end and a pin at the other end, so this is useful for removing the bracelet and fitting straps. It's always nice to see a spring bar tool included with a watch. And lastly, one also gets this bracelet resizing tool, which again is nice to see included. So, with regards to the specification of the piece, as I've discussed, the PX01 is made by Proxima watches under two brand names, Uni-Dive that we're looking at here, and alternatively Proxima. So with regards to dimensions, 40mm case diameter, we have a 48mm lug-to-lug measurement, 15mm thickness including the domed sapphire crystal which has clear AR coating on the underside, 20mm lug width, and the bracelet tapers from 20mm down to the 2-button push flip-lock clasp. The case, bezel, crown and bracelet throughout are made from 316L grade stainless steel, and I want to give due credit to Uni-Dive for polishing the case and also brush satin finishing the case to a flawless standard throughout. No sharp edges whatsoever. The bevels, the chamfers and also the quality of the finishing is just exceptional throughout. They've done a particularly good job of the bracelet, and as you can see when I tilt it in the light, the 316L grade stainless steel has a beautiful luster to it. This is the kind of finishing one would expect to see on a mid-tier piece costing in excess of €500. It's very unusual to see this kind of high quality finishing at only €187 in the low tier, so Uni-Dive deserve full credit for that. The bezel is one of my favourite aspects. It's fully loomed with C3 superluminova, and at this price point one would usually expect to see either an aluminium bezel insert or alternatively ceramic. But this is fully loomed sapphire bezel insert, and I really think that that is exceptional. I really like the domed sapphire crystal, which is like a top hat crystal, and it gives a characteristic distortion when one tilts the piece at an oblique angle, and it gives the watch a vintage aesthetic. Silver sunburst style, which adds interest to it. And one thing I like about it is the date wheel is in the centre of the dial rather than having the default option of a date window at 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So that also adds interest to the dial, the centred date complication. Clear legible, and also it's got very good applied indices, and also I like the use of the baton hands which have arrow points on the ends, and I like the arrowhead point to the sweeping second hand. So it's very good because although the domed sapphire crystal does give some distortion, it's clearly legible due to the clear AR coating on the underside, and I think they've done a good job in coming up with an original dial design. This watch isn't an homage to anything else. I previously reviewed the Proxima PX01 which is clearly an homage to the Seiko Marine Master 300, and that was an outstanding piece. But it's clear that Proxima are capable of producing their own designs, not just homage watches, and this Uni-Dive PX01 is a very good example of that, because it is a completely original design. Everything about it is unique. I like the fact there are holes in the flanks of the case which make removing the bracelet and fitting straps easy, and the mirror polishing to the flanks of the case is absolutely flawless, as is the coin edge bezel finishing, which is made from 316L grade stainless steel. So let's test the crown action. Solid 316L grade stainless steel crown, signed as you can see, beautifully engraved to a high standard, coin edge finished. Absolutely silky smooth to unscrew. No resistance whatsoever. It's got a very light thread action and it's just absolutely silky smooth. Very good interface between the internal thread of the solid stainless steel crown and the external thread of the stainless steel crown tube. One can manually wind the movement, which is the Seiko NH35A automatic, to top up the power reserve to its maximum 40 hours. Characteristic pop when one unscrews it. One pulls out the crown fully to the time setting position, and the first click operates the quick set date complication. Now if you look closely at the date complication in the center of the dial, you will see the date marker moving around. And I think that's a nice feature. It makes a refreshing change from having a date window at 3 or 6 o'clock, as I've discussed. Excellent legibility, because the black date marker on the white date wheel contrasts very well with the silver sunburst dial. And although it does take some getting used to, it is actually very easy to read the date once one becomes familiar with it. So quick set date complication, which works perfectly. Nice positive click when one pushes the crown back in to restart the movement. It has hand winding and hacking. Absolute pleasure to screw it back down. The lack of crown guards gives it a vintage aesthetic. The case shape reminds me of either a Seiko 62 MAS or alternatively a Tudor Black Bay. So 40mm case and 20mm lug width are very well balanced. The case back is solid 316L grade stainless steel, screw down, and provides an effective hermetic seal to 200 meters, as does the screw down crown. Flawless mirror polishing, and also beautifully laser engraved with the specification of the piece. Uni-Dive deserve full credit for producing a very well executed screw down stainless steel case back. The solid end links are also a very good fit to the case, and really the finishing throughout is very impressive. Bracelet is absolutely beautiful. Lovely luster to the 316L grade stainless steel. Mirror polish to the flanks to a flawless standard. Push pins in the bracelet. And I really like the detailing of the links, because as you can see, the centre sections have a mirror polish section which add contrast. Now, although they do look like 3 links, they are actually 1 link. And that means that they're very solid and very secure, and there's no extra play or extra articulation. The end links are solid and also a very tight fit to the case. So they've done a very good job of getting the fit right between the bracelet and also the case. 2-button push flip lock clasp, finished to a good standard, mirror polished on the flanks. One minor criticism is it only has 3 micro adjustment holes. The only change I would like to make to this watch is I would like to see Uni-Dive make a longer 2-button push flip lock clasp, and that would allow for 5 micro adjustment holes rather than only 3. The links are quite long. They're the same as the PX1683 Proxima links, which I've previously reviewed, and that means that resizing the bracelet is easy because of the push pins, but it's hard to get the correct fit because there are no half links in the bracelet, and these are rather long links. Now, if the clasp had 5 micro adjustment holes, or alternatively if the bracelet had half links, that would make it easier to resize the bracelet to perfection. Good firm resistance to the 2-button push triggers, and solid milled stainless steel clasp interior as one would expect. Brushed satin finish to the top side, underside and flanks, and done to a high standard. So I'll give you a wrist shot and you can see how it fits on my 8-inch wrist. Now, I haven't sized the bracelet. I've simply put it on wrist out of the box, and I'm pleased to report that it will easily fit my 8-inch wrist. As you can see, I can slip an index finger underneath the bracelet at all times. The comfort level of this watch is absolutely outstanding. It is sublime. As you'll know from my previous reviews, I consider 48mm to be the sweet spot. It is perfection. So 48mm lug-to-lug measurement gives a very comfortable fit, regardless of whether you are a collector with a 6 to 7-inch wrist or a 7 to 8-inch wrist, respectively. The 20mm lug width is also perfect. It perfectly balances the 40mm head of the piece. So really, the only negative is it is a rather tall piece at 15mm, including the domed sapphire crystal. Something to bear in mind, if you're going to wear this as a daily wear piece, really I consider 13mm to be the ideal height of a watch to easily slip underneath a shirt cuff if you wear business shirts. At 15mm with a domed sapphire crystal, it is a tall piece and it does therefore wear with wrist presence, so it's going to be more difficult to slip underneath a shirt cuff. But having said that, the 48mm lug to lug measurement, 40mm case diameter and the perfectly balanced 20mm lug width mean that the comfort level is outstanding and the feel good factor of wearing the watch is also outstanding. I like the domed sapphire crystal with the AR coating on the underside, and I like the distortion one gets with the domed crystal. As you can see, it adds interest to it, and it's also just beautiful the way it catches the light. The fully lumed sapphire crystal is glossy and it does complement the domed sapphire crystal and also the low profile nature of the coin edge finished solid 316L grade stainless steel bezel. So it's a very good looking piece, incredibly comfortable to wear and very aesthetically pleasing overall. So let's test the bezel action. 120 click unidirectional bezel as one would expect. Good firm resistance, it feels very similar to a Seiko bezel. No lateral side to side play whatsoever, no back play whatsoever. It's got a nice tight action. It's a very well executed bezel. Good even resistance all the way through the 360 degrees of rotation, and the coin edge finishing to the low profile bezel mean it's very tactile and it's very grippy. So it's an absolute pleasure to use. Now I'm just going to check the alignment. I'm going to bring it up to 12 o'clock. There we are. Absolute perfect alignment. The fully lumed sapphire bezel inserts, triangle, perfectly aligned with the 12 o'clock index on the dial. So Uni-Dive deserve full credit for producing an outstanding bezel action. Nice tight action, no lateral side to side play, no back play and perfect alignment. It is flawless. Right, so let's do a Lume test and we'll see how the Lume performs when it's charged up to its absolute maximum. So as always, I'm going to use my 100 UV LED torch to charge it up to its absolute peak. Right, so that's now fully charged, and as you can see, it has not disappointed. The Lume on this PX01 is incredible. I've never seen brighter Lume. C3 Superluminova is top grade Lume, and as you'll know from my previous reviews, it is one of my personal favourites. I love the characteristic green tone of C3 Superluminova. The baton style hands are glowing incredibly brightly. The date wheel is also glowing brightly, and also we have very bright Lume on the lumed sapphire bezel insert. The lumed sapphire bezel insert is actually one of my favourite aspects of this piece. As you can see, the Arabic numerals and also the minute marks are fully lumed and clearly legible. And I really think that Uni-Dive deserve full credit because this is one of the best fully lumed sapphire bezel inserts I have ever seen on a watch. It's just outstanding. It's continuing to glow for a good length of time and it is glowing very brightly. This is top grade C3 Superluminova. It is 10 out of 10 performance. So it's good to see that Uni-Dive haven't cut any corners with regards to the Lume used. And bear in mind, this is a low tier price point piece at €187. To get this quality of Lume at this price point really is very impressive. Right, so let's discuss the movement used. You will all be familiar with the Seiko NH35A automatic. Made in Japan, it is a reliable, well-proven workhorse movement. 24 joules, it runs at 21,600 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 3 Hz. Hand winding and hacking, which are useful complications, and a 40-hour power reserve, which is perfectly acceptable. The stated accuracy of the NH35A is -20 to +40 seconds per day. So a rather wide accuracy range. But however, I'm pleased to report that Uni-Dive have regulated this movement to +7 seconds per day. And I've actually seen a picture of Stephen Yee regulating this movement with a time grapher to prove that it is running at +7 seconds per day. So to get +7 seconds per day from an NH35A is outstanding and well within the -20 to +40 seconds per day stated accuracy. So it's just a very well made watch. The build quality, the quality control, the case finishing and even the regulation of the Seiko NH35A are all outstanding. So lastly, I'll surmise the piece. What do I think of it overall? Well, when I'm considering reviewing a watch on my channel, the watch should meet two criteria. It should be both excellent quality and excellent value at the respective price point. So the price point of this PX01 is €187. Yes, I consider it to be excellent value, and yes, I consider it to be excellent quality. It is unquestionably excellent quality and value at €187. The specification is absolutely loaded. Dome sapphire crystal with AR coating, C3 superluminova on the dial, hands, and also the fully lumed sapphire bezel. Really, this is an outstanding piece, and there is only one thing I would change about it, which is a minor criticism, and that is the clasp. I would like to see it lengthened and 5 micro adjustment holes added rather than 3, as I've discussed. Other than that, it is perfect. Everything about it is very good. Flawless bezel action, flawless crown action, and overall the quality of the finishing is mid-tier level. It looks like the kind of finishing one would get on a watch in excess of €500. So at €187, this is an outstanding piece overall, and I'm going to declare it a champagne watch for lemonade money. I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Uni-Dive PX01. Please feel free to post your own comments below the video. Thank you very much.